Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Sunday. This is Game Day Live and the Let's Go Devils podcast coming to you live on a Sunday afternoon, I guess it is, afternoon, early evening, leading up to the Devils to taking on the Nashville Predators away in Nashville tonight. As always, you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple, all those places that Samu always reads, as does Vinny, and obviously I don't pay attention when they read it because I don't remember it. Hello to everyone out there. I am Shorts Guy. I am your one and only lone host tonight. Everyone else is on assignment. And we're talking about the Devils taking on the Nashville Predators. This is a city that I need to get to for a Devils away game because it's a fun city. I've been there before. It's a place I want to get to for a hockey game. Looks like a great atmosphere. I know we got a couple people that were going out there that I saw in a couple Facebook groups. So to anyone that's out there, if you're watching the game day live from out in Nashville, have a good time. Be responsible, but also enjoy everything. If you love music, man, Nashville's the place to go. I don't know if anyone in the chat's been to Nashville at all, but it's an absolutely great place to go. It's a great place for music. Speaking of the chat, what's going on to everybody in the chat? What's going on? Select the Boy, Stephen Angle, AJ Visco, Max. Hey, it's Chris. Ted, what's going on, Ted? What's going on? Max, yeah. So you missed a game yesterday. So let's review yesterday's game right quick. The Devils played the Dallas Stars. Vinny and I were talking about it. A lot of chatter in the chat yesterday about how Jack Hughes was in the Four Nations Face-Off tournament, and the analytics just came out. I want to say they came out either late yesterday, either right before Game Day Live or during Game Day Live. Jack Hughes, although he did not score in the Four Nations tournament, was the second best defensive forward in the tournament. I'll tell you what, I will take that. But also talking about that, Jack's offensive ability. We were talking yesterday, we were hoping that Jack showed up offensively, or was going to show up offensively yesterday, and boy, did he. Scoring 2 goals yesterday, one of them being assisted by Dougie Hamilton. Unfortunately, if you were trying to watch Devils After Dark and hoping for a football call, there was none. But Jack showed up offensively yesterday when we really wanted him. It would have been nice to watch Jack score, or see Jack score in the Four Nation tournament, but his goals for the New Jersey Devils, I think, are more important right now, especially leading up to this playoff run. Which, speaking of leading off to the playoff run, you can't really have much as far as losses like yesterday. Man, we just have to continue to win. We have to start winning again. And I told Vinny yesterday, he's not here to defend himself in this, but I did call him out. He's like, whoa, we have a certain lead. And I was like, cool the jets, Vin. The Devils just got to start winning consistently. I think I saw a stat today, the last 21 or so games, we are 2 games below 500. So that's definitely not good. We are 3rd in the Metro currently. Yesterday's win would have been really nice to beat the Dallas Stars because they are a better team. They're a good team. They had Casey DeSmith in net. I think that would have been the best opportunity for the Devils to get a victory against Dallas. Would have been to light up Casey DeSmith, but that was not to be. We had Simone Nemec coming into the lineup yesterday. If you saw that first goal, I don't know anyone in the chat saw that first goal. I see, hey, it's Chris is saying bench Nemec. He lost his man on that first goal, and then that was on him yesterday. And after all this bluster and chatter about him saying he wants to be up here, and he just didn't show it. Yesterday was his opportunity. Not that it's going to be his last opportunity, but yesterday was his opportunity to really prove that everything he said in that article and everything that was brought up was, that he should be here, but he's not yet proving it. So I got Max talking in the chat about some stuff that we'll get to as well. But the Devils, it down 2-0 after the first. Come the third, Jack scores 2-1, and then immediately Dallas scores to make it 3-1. Jack scores again. And the empty net sinks our Devils 4-2 yesterday against the Dallas Stars. Man, would have been great to beat the Dallas Stars yesterday. I actually saw a couple Stars fans in Newark when I was at American Whiskey yesterday. So, but now we move on to today. Another back-to-back, another 24-hour back-to-back. Actually, it's probably a little bit less than that because technically I think there it's 5 o'clock. So we're going to get a 23-hour back-to-back. I saw Max was talking about, I guess, the Caps. Ovechkin had a hat trick. I'm assuming that's today, Max. So if you can tell me or not, because I haven't seen much about today. Let's see. Caps won 7-3. The Rangers beat Pittsburgh. Ugh, that's one of those games. It's like, I'd rather Pittsburgh win. Rangers lost big, and I couldn't be happier. The Rangers lost big to the Sabres, and my Ranger fan friends were not thrilled. Shesterkin looks terrible after signing that big contract. Ted was at yesterday's game. He said it was a great, fun game, but it sucked with the loss. Need defense. Let's see what else we got. 30 shots in New York Rangers. Wow. That's a big, big lopsided shot total there. What else we got here in the chat? Max shots, goal, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, AJ Visco in the chat saying that everyone said they're happy with the way they played. It kind of makes you worry. It really kind of does when you lose like that. They responded well after going down 2-0. They didn't let up another goal until into the third. But one of the worst things you want to do is to let up a goal just after you score. That's a massive momentum killer. And that was 35 seconds, I believe. That's a huge momentum killer when you're going to let up a goal immediately after scoring one. Max said no official changes yet. I believe Dawes is in net tonight, so we're going to have Dawes here. Ted said Amanda Stein has not posted any lines yet. McDermott is scratched. Casey scratched. Man, I'd rather see Casey than Nemec after yesterday. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Let's see. No, Brooke is saying she doesn't know what the point of having McDermott if you're not going to play him. McDermott's that character guy that you want, and there's not really a big fighter on Nashville, so I don't know if he'd really be all of that, all of that much of a need for him. Hey, it's Chris's death taxes and the Devils not finishing their chances. Yeah, that's what I caught the final piece of the game yesterday on the radio, and that's really what Chico kind of summed it up at the end, was that the Devils just couldn't finish. The Devils just couldn't, finish their chances, and that's been a problem leading up to this break. This is not the start from the break that we wanted to see. This is, we stumbled coming out of the Christmas break, and we're stumbling coming out of this break, which makes you wonder, like, would you ever want the Devils to sweep in a series? And I would say no. I know thinking of the playoffs is a little bit far in the future, but man, if the Devils were to somehow get into a playoff series and sweep, you'd be afraid of them coming out of that break after a sweep, and then stumbling out of that. So we'll see what happens. But let's focus on today. We've got the Nashville Predators, who have not had a good season at all. UC Saros has not played well at all. I don't think he played all that great in the Four Nations tournament. They're definitely in an odd spot. Nashville could be one of those teams that you could see selling at the deadline, whereas the Devils should be purchasing at the deadline, because they just did put Siegenthaler on the LTIR. So that's going to open up about 3.5 or whatever his salary is, just short of $4 million in cap space. So it looks like that's showing that there will be a move between now and Friday in the afternoon, whenever that trade deadline, probably like 3 in the afternoon. Nashville is 8 games below 500, and they're not playing well, but they have great players on this team. Now, the Devils have been known to play pretty terribly against some bad teams, which we've seen that. And, I hope that they don't do it today. This NHL app's got to, stop having Markstrom here, even though it's just for the regular season goaltender stats, because he's, still out. Assuming we're going to see Dawes today. We played Nashville back in November. We beat them 5-2. We're going into Nashville today. Nashville is on a 2-game win streak, so Nashville has remembered how to win. And while we are 500 in the last 10 games, Nashville is 4-6-0 in the last 10 games, and have won their last 2. They're remembering how to win, which is something that the Devils have to do as well. And we got Hey, it's Chris saying he doesn't have a good feeling about this game versus the Predators. More talk about Ovi's record. That's going to be broken, I think, a lot quicker than a lot of people were expecting? Let's see. Dawes. Okay, it's official via Sam Kassan. There you go. Oh, we're not even going to see Saros. Okay, interesting. So yeah, it's going to be. Nashville doesn't have a terrible team, like I said. Thank you for that, Wimpy. They just played Colorado and they beat them. They're no easy opponents. That's correct. Yeah, Nashville has a way to win. I mean, if you look at their roster, they've got, they have players like Marchessault and O'Reilly and Forsberg. They've got, although he's getting older, Steven Stamkos is on that roster too, and he's not a slouch either. I would absolutely take him on my beer league team in a heartbeat. In the NHL though, he's still a solid player. It's not a terrible team. They just haven't been able to put it together, but they've been known, and they did last year. They went on a tear towards the end. It's just a matter of, are they going to put it together now? Are they going to, what are they going to give this Devils? But, the Devils were hopefully going to learn something from yesterday. I have to assume that they left right away and they went right to Nashville. Hey, it's Chris. You're not going to say tonight is a must win, but yeah, no, every game is a must win at this point. Every game is a must win until you get that little X next to your team name in the standings. That's something you have to do. You have to get that X next to your standings. It means you're in the playoffs. It means you can start bringing up some extra guys and trying some people out. And you want to improve your standings into, going into the playoffs. You want to be going into the playoffs on a streak. This is not the way to go into the playoffs. Right now, the Devils, being in third, it's starting to get a little bit scary, whereas this team, going into the Christmas break, was the hottest team in the league. And now sitting at 68 points, third in the Metro, we're 4 points ahead of Detroit. But that's not really a big swing for Detroit to change. Excuse me, Detroit. Columbus is 62. Well, 62 for Detroit or Columbus. Excuse me, Columbus. That's really not tough for Columbus to change. That's a 6-point swing. I can't do math. This is why I tell stories and talk. 6 points is easy. That's 3 victories. 3 victories and 3 losses, either way. And this is not going to be really this could be pretty scary going forward. So let's see what else we got in the chat here. It's must get points according to AJ. Yeah, it's definitely, must win, must get. I mean, I guess at this point, if we can scrap out points going into overtime, but that's such a loser mentality. I don't really want this team to start having right now. Max is saying McDermott is warming up, so that's interesting. But sometimes the player will go off for warm-ups and then be told to hit the showers too. So we'll see what happens with him coming into the lineup. Speaking of that, for everyone that's here in New Jersey, in the New Jersey area, well, we can watch our games on MSG again. And just like I said, I called it 2 months. It would be about 2 months, and then we would be back to being on MSG, and here we are. I was talking to my parents today. My mom made a note to tell me. They said that the games were coming back and MSG was back, but the news only said that you could watch your New York Rangers again, which that's a pretty low blow for Devils fans, being told that we can watch our New York Rangers. But yeah, the Devils are back on TV. It's 2 months later. I'm going to have to jump on to a Woo report with Sam Woo at some point in the next week, just to kind of confirm my conspiracy theory that it would be 2 weeks, because they were probably looking for subscriptions to the Beat Gotham app, and here we are. So, well, we're back on TV, which makes things much better. But if I'm not mistaken, I think tonight might be on the NHL Network too. So I'm going to have to find a way to watch it if it's on the NHL Network, due to the fact that, oh no, it's on MSG. Perfect. So it's NHL Network for people like Max and for Vinny out there in Chicago on assignment. But for all of us, we have back on MSG. Wimpy, I think I'm assuming when you say good call that that was my conspiracy theory that came to life. I don't know if I've ever actually had a conspiracy theory that actually came to fruition. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm feeling pretty good about that I called that conspiracy theory and it was actually somewhat true. So we're going to have a longer discussion. I'm going to have a longer discussion with Sam on a Woo report, because Sam does love his conspiracy theories. He is quite the conspiracy theory guy. Stephen Engel, the negotiation price. I'm assuming you're mentioning with MSG. All right, Wimpy, I just thank you for confirming. With the negotiation price, I have no idea, and I haven't read all the details. I know the rumor was Amazon was going to buy in. So Max is saying starting lineups, another 10 minutes. So, speaking of that, we're getting a little bit close to game time. It is 5:38 here on the East Coast in New Jersey. So why don't we start to get some predictions into the chat? We'll start to get them going, and then this way we can I'll read the score predictions for tonight, and then we can then we can go on out here, and I can open up a second beer, sit down and watch the game. Samu just texted me his score, and it's a somewhat regular Samu prediction, but let's get predictions from the rest of everyone else that's watching and listening and adding on into the chat. I see one coming in already from Ted. So the Devils going to Nashville back-to-back. We know the history with the back-to-backs. We know the history with the way this team has been. But they have to get this win tonight. Everything at this point, until we have that little X next to our team name in the standings, is a must-win. This way that we can get into the playoffs, be set, secure, and ready to go in the playoffs. And then we can move forward here. So we've got some, we've got some predictions here in the chat. I'll tell you what, this is a little annoying being the only one, because usually when Vinny talks, I can take a sip of beer, but since I'm the only one that's talking here, I can't do that. But I'm going to take a sip anyway as I look at some of these scores. And unfortunately, it's not Ann Crew Brew right now because I didn't have any cold and ready to go. But looking at some of these score predictions here, we have Ted with a 3-2 Devils victory. Wimpy with a 4-2 Devils victory. Select Boy, 4-2 Devils. Hey, it's Chris is saying 2-1 Devils. Joseph Lamon with a 4-1 Devils victory. Brooke Amanda is saying 3-1 Devils victory. Let's see. Wimpy is saying, Timo, please score. Yeah, Timo had chances last night, Wimpy. So I'll take, him. I'll take him getting chances. It's just a matter of when this team starts to finish and they finish all together, it's going to be an explosion of scoring. Let's see what else we got here. 3-2 AJ Visco. AJ Visco with 4-3 Devils overtime victory. All right, AJ Visco was trying to go yesterday with his 4-0 set the tone, going with a back-to-back 4-0 score. He called it against Montreal. Couldn't do it last night, AJ. Sorry, AJ. Which, by the way, AJ, I saw Coach Beltran. Just wanted to throw that out there. He says hello. Mike Rossi, man, I'm not reading that score. I'm going to pull a Vinny. Not going to read it. Let's see. Dubs is at Bridgestone Arena right now for the game. Dubs, please, man, have a good time. Please let us know what it's like during Devils After Dark. If you can jump on Devils After Dark and throw it into the chat. Yeah, I don't know if it's your first time in Nashville, Dubs, but I had a fantastic time. I absolutely cannot stand, and I absolutely hate country music, but I had such a good time in Nashville because there was all kinds of music and all kinds of bars. It was just such a fun time. So Dubs, have a good time. Enjoy it. And you got to let us know what that atmosphere is like when we're on Game Day Live next. Looks like Max is starting to find some of the lines here. We have Evan the Destroyer Devils need to wake the F up, and he's predicting a 3-1 Devils victory. Stephen Engel's telling us today that it's 2-2 Pittsburgh versus the Rags. So we have our lines coming here from Max. We have Pally, Hughes, and Bratt. No surprise there. Tatar, Heischer, and Nason. Meyer, Dowling, and Mercer. And Cotter, Halla, and Bastian. Here come your defensive pairings, according to Max. We have Dylan and Hamilton pairing up together. And waiting for the next ones. I think Max is typing. Pesci and Kova. Okay, Covey. Pesci and Covey. I'll take that. I'm assuming that means that Luke is going to be with Nemec again. Which Hughes and... Wow. Yes, that's what I like to see. Hughes and Casey. That's going to be a good pairing to watch. That's going to be fun. Wimpy, I would agree. If you can't have fun in Nashville, it's a you problem. I agree. Dubs, I have a suggestion for some barbecue. If I can dig it up and you shoot me a DM on something, if I can dig it up, I'll send you where I went, because it was one of those places. There was a line out the door, and everything came on a piece of paper on a tray. It was fantastic. So my prediction, I'm thinking the Devils need to absolutely win tonight. And it's one of those things where the Devils have to show up. They have to come out. Yeah, this is a back-to-back, but this is the start of a longer road trip. The Devils are in Nashville tonight. Steven Engel, Nemich's trade bait. You never know. Steven Engel, you never know. All right, going back to my prediction. I think the Devils are going to come out. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think the Devils are going to make this one close. I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-2 Devils victory, potential empty net to make it 4-2, but I'm going to say officially 3-2. I'm going to say Timo Meier breaks through his scoring slump, and Timo Meier is absolutely going to bring this Devils team to a victory. Sam Wu's prediction for today is 8-3 Devils. 8-3 Devils. I would love to see an 8-3 Devils victory. Now that I've read his and said mine, I have a feeling that Sam might be closer than I will. Everyone seems to be pretty pumped that Casey's in. I am absolutely pumped that Casey's in too. It's good to see. It's going to be good to see him back in the lineup. I'm going to be excited to watch him. Brooke Amanda saying Nemich's trade value isn't too good right now. It's true. I mean, he's not playing well, but there's a lot of potential. So we'd be selling his potential, not necessarily his current play right now. Steven Engel is saying trade Mercer with some picks attached. Man, it was it's tough. Oh man, I guess Max is regaling us with his time in Nashville and the time change. So Wimpy saying you can get some Jenny Cream Ale inside of Bridgestone. That's awesome. And yeah, well, it seems to be like a lot of people are ready to watch this game. Sam just hit the music, so I'm going to go finish this beer, crack open another one, and watch this Devils game. Make sure you watch your Devils tonight, taking on the Nashville Predators, and then tune in for Devils After Dark with Scotty at SiriusXM Liquid Metal, and he will recap the game that was. There is no big show tonight, just to let everyone know. There is no big show tonight on Sunday night because the Devils tend to preempt us when they play on Sunday night. Plus, we know you'd all rather be watching the Devils than watching us. So once again, Devils After Dark after the game. Thank you for watching Game Day Live. Thank you to Sammy. And at some point, Vinny and I will be back together. Hopefully later on this week. It's going to be a couple late games, so get ready. Devils are on the road. Everyone, enjoy the game. Enjoy your Sunday, and let's go Devils.